Hi everyone, it's me, Kelly again. Now we have some shocking news about a new death that's proving just how new hauntings are. Right now, the pulse of the town feels stronger and more unsettled than ever because of what is happening with Anna and the chilling extremes that Cullum has gone to. I sit here in my favorite chair every afternoon with my tea and the television on, and lately I find myself leaning forward, heart racing in the best possible way, because the layers of deception and the fight for truth are unfolding in a way that feels both brand new and deeply rooted in everything we have loved about these characters for so long. Anna has always been the steady one, the woman who could walk into any danger with her head high and come out the other side a little battered but still standing taller than before. Yet these past months have shown us a different side of her life, one filled with real trouble that goes far beyond the usual spy games. After everything she endured in that hidden place beneath Windermere, the move to the private clinic in France was supposed to be a chance for healing and quiet recovery. Instead, it has become something far more sinister. The clinic, recommended in good faith, turns out to be under the control of forces that never intended for Anna to get better or to leave on her own terms. Cullum, with his position and his connections, has made sure of that. He and his partner have turned what should have been sanctuary into a cage where gaslighting and control replace care. Anna has tried to break free more than once, her spirit still fighting even when her body is worn down, and that alone tells me everything about why we have loved her for so many years. But Cullum is not content to simply hold her there. He has taken things to an extreme that I never saw coming. Even after all the twists this show has delivered, the shock hit like a sudden storm when word began to spread through Port Charles that Anna was gone. Cullum did not simply let rumors fly. He constructed a complete and believable story designed to close every door. A report went out, official and chilling, claiming that Anna had managed one last desperate escape from the clinic, wandered for weeks without the medical support she needs, and was ultimately found deceased. He even went so far as to add the details to formal records, using her known health challenges in a way that made the entire tale feel tragically plausible to anyone who heard it. The announcement landed in the middle of the town like a heavy stone dropped into still water, sending ripples of grief, confusion, and a strange new obsession in every direction. People who have known Anna for years, who have fought beside her and against her and everything in between, suddenly had to reckon with the idea that she might truly be lost to them. That kind of news does not stay quiet in a place like Port Charles. It spreads through the hospital corridors, through the coffee shop conversations, through every quiet moment when someone stops and remembers all the times Anna was the one who showed up when no one else could. The obsession that has taken hold feels different from ordinary mourning. It is the kind that makes good people question everything they thought they knew and pushes others to look harder for cracks in the story. Some are simply devastated, while others cannot shake the feeling that something about the timing and the details does not sit right. That lingering doubt is exactly what keeps the story alive and makes each new episode feel essential. What strikes me most, watching this as someone who has followed every chapter of Anna's journey since the days when she first arrived with all that quiet strength and hidden fire, is how Cullum's plan reveals a level of calculation that feels colder than many of the villains we have seen before. In earlier years, the threats to Anna often came from clear enemies with personal grudges or grand schemes that could be confronted head-on. This time, the danger wears the mask of authority and medical concern, and it uses the very systems Anna once served to trap her. By impersonating figures from her past in those quiet moments inside the clinic, and by controlling every piece of information that leallied the building, Cullum has tried to make sure no one comes looking. The fake death announcement is not just about ending the search. It is about making the world believe there is nothing left to search for. That kind of extreme measure changes the entire atmosphere of Port Charles. The town feels a little smaller, a little more fragile, and yet at the same time, it feels charged with the possibility that the truth is still out there waiting to be uncovered. I find myself wondering how long such a carefully built lie can hold before the smallest inconsistency begins to unravel it, and I suspect that is precisely the tension the writers want us to feel. Into this storm steps Valentin, and the way his story is weaving together with Anna's right now is giving me some of the most compelling moments I have experienced in a long time. Valentin has carried his own complicated history with Anna for years. A connection that has survived separations, betrayals, and the kind of deep affection that never fully disappears, no matter what else happens in life. When he learned the details of what Cullum has been doing, the gaslighting and the impersonations meant to break Anna's spirit, something in him shifted. He is not the kind of man to sit back and accept an official report when his heart tells him there is more to the story. Instead, he has begun to move quietly and carefully. Because as a man with his own troubles, he cannot simply walk into the clinic and demand answers. He knows the risks. He understands that Cullum will not give up control easily. Yet, the need to know the truth, to see for himself whether Anna is truly beyond reach or still fighting somewhere in that French facility, has become something he cannot ignore. This is where the new adjustments in the story feel most alive to me. Valentin's decision to travel under another name, to disguise himself and slip into the shadows of a place where he is not welcome, represents a level of personal risk that goes beyond simple curiosity. It is driven by something older and stronger, the same bond that once made him and Anna such a fascinating pair. Now that bond is pulling him straight into the path of Cullum, and the collision that seems inevitable promises to be one of the most intense confrontations we have seen in quite a while. I have my own thoughts about where this might be heading, and I know they could be right or they could miss the mark entirely, but they come from watching how these characters have behaved across so many years. It seems to me that Cullum's extreme actions, while they have succeeded in creating immediate chaos and sorrow in Port Charles, have also planted the seeds of his own exposure. By going so far, by using Anna's health and her past so callously in his fabricated story, he has made the lie bigger and more fragile at the same time. Valentin's quiet determination to verify every detail feels like the perfect counterweight. Where Cullum works through records and reports and controlled environments, Valentin is moving through personal loyalty and instinct. That difference in approach is what makes their upcoming clash so exciting to anticipate. I do not believe the story is meant to end quietly with a simple confirmation of death. Everything we have seen so far, from Anna's repeated escape attempts to the way information is slowly leaking out through people like Jocelyn, suggests that the truth is gathering strength even while the lie tries to hold its ground. The obsession that has taken over parts of Port Charles may actually work against Cullum in the end, because when enough people start asking the same questions at the same time, even the most carefully constructed fiction begins to crack. What I appreciate most about this chapter is how it honors the long history of the show while still feeling fresh. Anna's resilience has always been one of her defining traits, yet here we are watching her face a threat that is more psychological and isolating than the physical dangers of the past. That shift allows us to see new dimensions in her character and in the people who care about her. Valentin's willingness to risk everything to find the truth reminds me of the complicated, passionate man he has always been, but now it is filtered through years of growth and the quiet understanding that some connections never truly break. Cullum, for all his power and planning, comes across as someone who underestimates how deeply Anna is loved and how far those who love her will go when they sense deception. The war that is building between Cullum and Valentin feels personal on both sides, and that personal stake is what will make the payoff so satisfying whenever it arrives. As I think about the episodes still to come, I keep returning to the same questions that keep me tuning in day after day. How much longer can the false reports and the official records protect Cullum once someone with Valentin's determination starts pulling at the threads? Will Anna find one more way to reach the outside world before the isolation and the manipulations take too great a toll? And what will it mean for Port Charles when the truth finally surfaces and people realize how close they came to believing a carefully engineered lie? I do not have the answers yet. And that is exactly why the story feels so alive right now. Every new detail adds heat to the fire. Every small revelation makes the next one feel even more important. For those of us who have walked with these characters through decades of love, loss, danger, and redemption, this particular chapter feels like a reminder of why we stay loyal. The show is not simply repeating old patterns. It is stretching them in new directions while still giving us the emotional core we have always cherished. I find myself smiling even in the tensest moments because I know that Anna has survived worse than anyone gave her credit for, and because I have seen Valentin fight for what matters to him before. Cullum may believe he has closed the book with his shocking announcement, but the pages are still turning, and the story is far from finished. The madness that has gripped poor Charles will not last forever, and when the dust settles, I suspect we will look back on this time as one of the most gripping stretches in recent memory. The truth has a way of finding its way to the light in this town, and the people who care about Anna are not the kind to let a lie, no matter how extreme or well documented, stand in their way for long. That is the promise that keeps me coming back, day after day, year after year, still eager for whatever comes next in the ever-unfolding life of General Hospital.